foggy this morning, and I love this property when there's a little bit of fog. It just looks magical. But the fog is starting to dissipate quickly, but before it's gone, I wanted to take you on a walk of the front of the property and see what all is going on up here, chores I need to do, things I'm proud of, things I think are cool, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to start way up here at the front. Our front gate is over there. I'm going to start in this corner. We do have a row of blue point junipers going down here. I want to get some more. I kind of want to fill this in. We have 1.3 acres, and it needs to be filled with plants. So we got a lot of room to fill things. And for some reason this morning there are spider webs on everything. Like, it's hard to capture them, but they are everywhere. Spiders were busy last night. In this corner here I have some Cana Lilies that are being attacked by one of those, the leaf roller caterpillar. Now the adult is a cute little skipper moth, but the babies really do some damage to your cannas. So I don't have any blooming at the moment, so I need to come in and trim off all this stuff. And I usually just cut off the rolled bits and toss them. Next, let me roll around this way, is a Bartlett Pear with suckers. Look at all those suckers at the bottom. So those will be trimmed off today. And it looks like mealybug. That's some freaking mealybug. Okay, so we're gonna take care of that today. This tree has been in the ground 4 years, and it's barely grown. Barely grown. We have some tough soil out here. This particular lot, and it's a pretty tree. I love the leaves on it. I love the shape of it. The leaves are smaller. We have another pair over there, and I'll show you in a minute. But it just looks pretty. Really pretty. Has a nice shape to it. I gotta cut that one. It's getting a little out of control. I don't want this tree to get too tall. I want to be able to pick pears if we ever do get a pear. This tree has never had pears, and I think it's flowered maybe once, like 1 or 2 little flower clusters. It's never been in complete flower. This lot was one of the last lots in the neighborhood before they built the new section, and they used to use it as a dump. So there's big chunks, like 3-4 inch chunks of tires. Whenever we dig for a new plant, there's tires in the soil and God knows what else. But we're doing what we can to amend as we go and make the soil better. So this other tree here is a sad little peach tree. It's also been in the ground 4 years, and it just hasn't done anything. It's just like it's stunted. I'm going to show you if I can capture the webs and the dragonfly at the top. Hey, little buddy. And hey, scary buddy. Oh, that's nice. That's pretty. Alright, so sad peach tree. A little bit sad pear tree. And kind of sad canas over there. Junipers are great. Junipers, gosh, this one in the corner here we planted about 4 years ago, and it was probably to my hip height. Now it's way taller than me, so that's awesome sauce. This one we just planted last year. The next one we planted 4 years ago, and then the one behind it last year. So we have a border of mulch here that weeds are taking over. So I'm gonna get out here and start pulling weeds, and I have a new little edger tool thing so that I can get a nice edge on this border. This is Bermuda grass. This is gonna be awesome to try to get out. There is landscape fabric underneath, but, you know, that really doesn't do anything. So we did this border all the way around our privacy fence. We put this privacy fence up in April of this year, 2020. And it's already started to age a little bit because I don't like the way the pine boards look when they're new. They're kind of green from the pressure treatment and all that, but now they're starting to golden up a little bit. And so we put this in, and it does go all the way to the back and all the way around the back of the property. But we put this fence in, and then we kind of dug out this border here and filled it with mulch and put in some ruby laura petalum. Very pretty. I like the color. More weeds. So all this needs to get cleaned out. So we have a row of ruby laura petalum. Of course, over the years it'll get filled with more stuff. This is just, I would love to have a grand, you know, British herbaceous border here one day with the fruit trees and the shrubs. So this is my other pear. This is a kefir pear. It still has a tag on it. Been in the ground 4 years. This year is the first year that it's really put on any size. Well, it's not looking that great. It was looking better earlier. At the beginning of spring, I did spray it with a copper fungicide because this one would keep defoliating because it would get this black stuff all over it. And I don't know if it's fire blight or some sort of black spot for pears, but it's got it again. And it's not looking so good. And holy moly, what the crap is that? Ugh. Ugh. I am guessing that is a spider of some sort, or do I have spider mites and they're just that bad? Ooh, could be, I don't know. Okay, I'm cutting that out. That's getting cut out today because I just don't like the way it looks. Anyway, there's my kefir pear. I did trim it this spring. I cut actually quite a bit off the top and it has bounced back. So I guess it just wants to be that tall, of course. Oh, let me walk back this way. This big bush here is the sister to the mother bush in the back. This is a gardenia, and it was growing along our driveway when we first moved to the property. And a guy that we had on the property grinding stumps came along with his chainsaw and just whacked it to the ground. I was a little mad. And my husband dug it up and put it over here. So 4 years ago, it went from being about 2.5 feet tall and wide, just, you know, a cut up thing. Now it's huge. It's taller than I am. It's, of course, bigger than I am, but just barely. It's just, and they grow in just almost a perfect circle. Like there's no trimming. We don't trim. Well, I got to trim the one in the back, but we don't shape it or anything. It just grows in that shape, and I think that's so cool. Need to take some cuttings off that one and the one in the back because these things get big. We bought an August Beauty gardenia this year and planted it. Hopefully it makes it. It is kind of harsh and hot out here. The front yard is like full blazing sun all day. But the reason we put this one here and bought another one here is to cover up these poles, just to kind of camouflage them a little bit. So that way you look at the plants and not the poles. And here I have my little lime tree. And every year we don't quite cover it for all the frosts and little freezes. And so it gets burnt back. And it gets burnt back pretty hard every year. And then so in the summer it has to spend a lot of time trying to recuperate. And so we don't get flowers or fruit because it's just trying to regrow the bits that got burned off. Usually I have to cut it back pretty hard, like into the wood. So it's got a lot of new growth this year, which is nice. We've had it pretty moist this year. And this past winter wasn't very hot, so that helped. Okay, let's come over here to the circle bed. I have a separate video on each of the plants in here. It just looks really pretty this morning. There's the Mexican petunia. Got blooms on it. Pretty. These are playing. Looking lovely today. Very nice. Very nice. Look at that sweet little bud there. Rain droplets, dew droplets, I guess. There's spider web. Nice. Back this way, this is a plum tree that's looking real sad. And also full of webs. Full of webs. Look at that. Whole tree's covered. This is a plum called Bruce. We've had him, I believe, 2 years. He had plums on him when we got him. Of course, no more since. I don't know if it's our soil, if it's the heat, if it just hasn't got rooted in yet. You know, fruit trees just struggle on this property. Everything else does okay, but fruit trees really struggle. I thought this particular plum when we got it, and I think there's still time, the branches are real long and wispy and thin and pretty straight, and I thought this would be a great candidate for an espalier, just to kind of tie the branches down in a shape, like in a candelabra or just in a fan. But these branches, they are begging. They are just begging to be espaliered, I think. So, it's a thought. It's still an option. I still have some time, but I probably need to do it by next year. So, and then back here we have another plum, so they can cross-pollinate. This is a plum called Methley. And I keep straightening out this tree. and then I'm like, okay, it's good. It doesn't need the support anymore. And then it slowly starts leaning again. So I'm gonna have to support it a little bit because it's growing into the fence. Now this one will flower quite often, but no fruit at all. So it's just harsh on fruit trees out here. And this one's looking a little yellow, chlorotic. Anyway, maybe I need to look at that. Wasp. One of those blue ones. I think that's one of those ones that like to paralyze spiders and take them back to their little cave so their babies can grow on the paralyzed spiders. Yeah, gruesome story, but I think it's a true one. And then in this corner here, I planted a river birch, and it's gonna look so amazing when it gets big and when all the weeds are gone. This has 4 trunks, I believe. I love multi-trunked trees. Let me stand back. It's gonna fill out the corner. Really pretty when it's like, 30 feet tall with curly, peely bark. Maybe not 30 feet, I'm not sure how big they get. Well, maybe. Anyway, river birch. More spider webs. Love the leaves. This one had a little bit of stress when I planted it here, so this side is a little sparse. It kind of freaked out. It was really hot when I planted it. That's gonna look lovely. And I need to weed this mulch today, if I do nothing else, before it gets out of control. Then I have some pots here, terracotta pots with Gerbera Daisies. Now when I bought all my Gerbera Daisies, I bought them on the same day at Walmart. They were all white. and 2 of them were yellow. And I'm like, oh, white Gerbera daisies in terracotta pots. That's gonna look so pretty. And after those white daisies faded, they've been hot pink and bright orange ever since. Yuck. I mean, it's pretty. I didn't mean to say yuck. I'm so sorry, little flower. I'm sorry. You're just not my type. It's not you, it's me. So, anyway, the foliage is suffering a little bit. I need to get in here and thin it out. And they do this in the summer here. This is like the 2nd year I've had these. But I had them before in our last house. And it's just really hot and humid here, and the foliage gets yucky. And then this bed, I have not gotten out my app yet and designed something on this side. So right now it's full of mulch and a puppy. Hi, Axel Rose. Hi, baby. And Bermuda grass. Bermuda grass is taking over, and that's awesome. Because once that gets in a bed, it'll love you forever. This is a climbing rose called New Dawn. Sweet little bloom there. Just a pale, pale pink. These blooms are kind of small, but I need to get it out of the pot and in the ground because it is blazing hot. And so, but actually the plant's doing pretty good. But I want to plant it right here, right exactly where the pot is. That's where I want to put it in the ground. And I want to train it to kind of wrap around our porch. I think that'll look lovely. So that's the plan. Maybe I can get that done today because that pot has been sitting there literally since I think April. So, but I want to train it, maybe May, anyway. I want to train it around the porch. Oh, and now we come to one of my absolute all-time favorite plants on this property and of all time. This is a tropical hibiscus called Heatwave. And the foliage is amazeballs. You have green, you have white, you have pink, you have burgundy. And the topper is a beautiful red hibiscus flower. And unfortunately, these are all spent. I had 4 open yesterday, all along the bottom, unfortunately. There's another one, and another one. Oh, and another one. Hey. Anyway, it's a beautiful, beautiful plant. I don't even know if it's frost hardy here. Oh, there's a bud. That'll be open tomorrow. Oh, that's so pretty. I hope it's frost hardy. I'm thinking I need to take some cuttings because I think this plant needs to be in my life forever and ever. In the hanging basket here is some blue Cape Plumbago, and there's also a white one in here. The white isn't blooming right now, and I need to do some deadheading, and I think that whole branch is dead. Cut that back. Anyway, pretty. And this pot here, this is a lemongrass that I need to cut back. I need to take some in the house to use, but this is, be careful, this will cut you. Lemongrass here, and then some aloe down there, and there is actually a rosemary stuck in there. Yeah, I do need to trim this back. There's a rosemary in there. Salvia farinaceae, looking good. Starting to swallow up my agapanthus. I have some sapphire agapanthus. There's some spent blooms there. And I had these in a pot with the salvia. So when the agapanthus came out, some of the salvia stalks came with it, and they might be taken over a little bit, but they look pretty. Speaking of taking over, look at this GUARA. This is SISKIYOU pink GUARA, and it is insane. It's just gone insane. So I need to research, like maybe cutting it back. Like, do I cut it back like a grass? Can I propagate it? Can I divide it like a grass? Because this right here is one plant. It's hard to tell if I can, but this is one. That's one plug from a little 4-inch pot. That right there. And then, you know, there's one right there, and one right there. But they've all, you know, it's just a mat. And it's not really blooming much right now. Let me find a bloom here. So there's some of the blooms. And they're so pretty and pink. And so usually this whole thing is full. And I think these are buds that are about to put on a nice show, or they're spent. I don't know, because it's my first year growing it. But anyway, I need to do something with that, because in front of the GUARA is Cuban Gold Duranta. Very pretty, but it's being swallowed whole. And I think we're getting some lack of airflow because we're getting some spots, which is probably a sort of fungus because it's being smothered. So, need to, oh, pardon, need to work on that. And over here I have a variegated agapanthus. I love, 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 love the foliage. And I have 3 plants here, and 2 of them have bloomed. This one in the front didn't have any blooms on it when I bought it back in May, April, May. And so I finally got a bloom spike here, but it's just kind of petering out and it's not opening up, and I don't know what's going on in here. Maybe it's not happy. I don't know. Weird. So we have the Cuban Gold, SISKIYOU Pink GUARA. Next row here is the Loropetalum called Daruma. Can you see it? Barely. Yeah, it's in there. Daruma. And it looks lovely. It was very purple when I bought it, burgundy when I bought it, and then it got very green. And now it's starting to get a lavendery purple again. And this one especially has some blooms. Let's see, there's a pretty bloom right there. Look at that pink little fringe flower bloom. I have a Dusty Miller hiding. This GUARA is just a monster. And there's a little salvia in there hiding. And then the next row is August Beauty Gardenia. As you can see, that one's dead. That one's dead. That one I think is doing the best. Almost dead. Half dead. I want to be dead soon. Okay. So, that's what we got going on in the front here. Yeah. 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 And then we come to this pot. And we just won't talk about this plant here. That's my son's plant. But we won't talk about it. And this here is made of Orleans. It is an Arabian, oh, the word Arabian. What is the word? Jasmine. Hello, jasmine. And it smells amazeballs. Look how pretty. Pretty. And there's a weed. Ooh. And some leftover Dusty Miller in there. I need to get that weed out. Look at that spider web. They had a party last night, all these spiders, and they just went to town making webs. Oh, and there's a little salvia stuck in there too. Just a little annual. Salvia repens, maybe? I don't know. So that's what's going on there. I got a couple things going on in some pots. Come over here. Some sweet alyssum seeds that fell out of this pot here. And this is some sweet alyssum that reseeded. I had some in earlier this year. It just kind of petered out and got crispy, but it was full of seeds, so I just shook them back in the pot. And we have another go, and it's beautiful. And this is a sedum called Ogon. It is getting a little crispy because this pot is blasted with sun. Normally it's a little more chartreusey and it's starting to yellow out, but it's doing okay. And there's one of the elusive white Gerbera Daisies. I know, usually this has hot pink, and orange. And finally got a white one. I do get some yellow ones on occasion. And there's a baby yellow rose there. I can't even get in there. And spider webs. And white roses need to be trimmed. And then this is a Texas Star Hibiscus. I've been growing this from a little seedling that I dug up in my friend's yard for like 3 years, and I finally put it outside. And it was supposed to be like a purple hibiscus, like a light lavender color, because that's what hers are. And I was surprised when it turned out to be white. There were white blooms, white hibiscus blooms, and it was beautiful. It was supposed to be a Rose of Sharon, a purple Rose of Sharon. Anyway, that's what was growing in her yard, so I'd love to have some more. It's beautiful when it's in bloom, of course. And then I have my Polyantha rose here. This is a Marie Daily Rose, and I don't think there are any blooms on it at all right now. Oh, there's a little one. And it's very fragrant, very cute. And I have a vine growing in here. I need to get that out. I need to find the base of it and pull it out. So that's real pretty when it's in bloom. This coleus has gone bananas. I've already trimmed it back once or twice, and it's almost 3 feet tall. So, probably won't put that one in the pot again. It's drowned out my mini pink roses. Now the lantana's doing great. Look at that lantana, trailing lantana, white, so sweet, very sweet. No more roses blooming right now. I think the coleus has just swallowed it up. So this needs to be cut back. Oh, it's gonna flower too. And this one, look, this got some coloring on it, which is weird. It's was solid chartreuse, and then all of a sudden we got some color. But this is very aggressive. This is also another one by Miracle Grow called Riverwalk. Now the sun coleus that's in the back around the shade border that got mammoth and crazy was also a sun coleus called Fifth Avenue by Miracle Grow. So they're not playing around with their stuff. And then we have some Chinese tallow trees growing through the porch, so we have to treat that. We did have a tallow tree right here, big tall tree, and it left all these little popcorn seeds all over the porch, and they'd fall through the cracks, and now we have trees, and it's so invasive. It's just really bad. We will use chemicals because this will destroy our porch. And then in this pot here, I have more lantana, trailing lantana that's not in bloom. And this is my white margin snow rose, this shrub here, variegated shrub. And it's not, I don't see any flowers. I can see teeny tiny little white flowers that are so precious. But the foliage is very pretty variegation. I do need to trim it. It's getting a little wild. So I'll trim that, and then I'll try to root the cuttings because I really would like to have some more of this. And see, these roses are just washed out, just yellow. So I may need to treat this pot. And I had some white, there's some more ogon, sedum ogon. And I had some white geraniums, pelargoniums, and they are not doing so well. They could be getting shaded out by the shrub. I probably need to turn the pot. Oh, and I have several praying mantis. Aren't you cute? Hi. Hello. Hello, sir. And there's my office with all my plants. Let's see. Yeah, got stuff going on in there. Let's go back down because we're about to get to another favorite part for me. We have a Eugenia topiary here that needs another haircut. I just gave this girl a haircut like 3 weeks ago. I trimmed her up. She's bushy again. So I will trim her again, but I'm just glad she's happy. I found her at Walmart for $36, which is so cheap. And she was next to some other gals that had passed away. They had died. They were brown, so I feel like I saved her. Serious, true story. And my Pikachu hydrangea. I mean, look at this view. Let me stand back. Look how pretty she is with that white Gerbera Daisy in the basket and the white sweet Alyssum in that pot there. And then topiary and the evergreens. And then this pretty, pretty panicle hydrangea. Pikachu. Now usually she gets crispy and browns out before I get to see very much of the pink. But you can see there's a little bit of a blush. Now this Pikachu is, I got it at Walmart on clearance, but it's by Better Homes and Gardens. They have the Pikachu. So there's that pink flush, but see all the brown. The Texas sun is gonna turn it into just this brown ball. There's a new bloom there. Here's and one down here. They're just so beautiful. And they're a lot smaller this year, a lot fewer clusters. Last year I had this in a pot on the porch. So this is its first year. Well, last year I planted it in the ground. So I guess it's just getting used to things. Maybe next year I'll have more blooms because it sure is pretty. And I have boxwoods around the edge. They were just in generic cans at Houston Garden Center, so I really don't know the cultivar. This is a loropetalum something diamond, ruby diamond, something diamond loropetalum from Southern Living Plant Collection. It's got some spotting on it. I've had 2 of these die, and I've had to replace them. And all they had at the getting place was this loropetalum called Red Chocolate. And my dog is in there driving my husband nuts. And it's really pretty. It gets red leaves, but then some real chocolatey. It's really pretty. And then Italian cypress. Got quite a lot of new growth at the top on this one. I'm real excited. It's happy. It is so happy. Blue Point junipers, 3 of them. I have to say this garden bed is my design. Did it on my iScape app, and I'm super, super proud of it. Everything just looks beautiful. So this is another red chocolate loropetalum. And then you can see in the middle there is another Southern Living loropetalum, one of the diamonds. I'm gonna have to put that on the screen. I don't remember the name. I have a trailing rosemary here. Look at all the spider webs. So many webs. Usually this thing is in bloom like for most of the year, so I'm surprised it's not blooming right now. But it's just kind of crawling over the stone. Very pretty. And this tree is my Barbados cherry. I love it. It's got so many blooms on it right now. So many pretty blooms, and they're so tiny. And then it gets the cutest little red cherries, acerola cherries. They actually use the fruit to make vitamin C for your vitamin C supplements because they're very high in vitamin C. So get your own tree and eat them. And so it looks like it has a weeping habit, but actually it's just really long. It's supposed to be a shrub. And I bought it trained into a standard, into a tree. And what I've been doing is using string because it was hanging down almost to the ground like a weeping willow. I used some jute twine to tie the branches up just a little bit. And so it gives it a kind of a weeping ponytail look with a weird one going that way. But anyway, the flowers, like you have light pink, you have dark pink, and I've seen some that were almost white. So it's pretty. The colors don't, the flowers don't pop that much. Like you can't really see the flowers from far away. Now when the cherries are bright red, those really pop. Those are pretty. Anyway, it's my Barbados cherry. And there's some suckering at the bottom. I need to take care of that. More of the unnamed boxwood. Another one of the diamond loropetalums. And then on the very back row here, I have azaleas. So this is an encore azalea called Autumn Moonlight. Look how pretty that is. And this is the beginning of August. And we're getting a big flush of blooms. You can see some of them are already spent. Now, this is another type of Gardenia, another type of azalea, but the name of it is actually like green gardenia, something gardenia. I'll try to find the tag from when I bought it. But yeah, I think that is so odd to name an azalea a gardenia. It might be confusing for people because it just confused me just now. More of the autumn moonlight. These blooms are so freaking pretty. And then another one of the gardenia azaleas, and then another autumn moonlight. So, oh, and I'm gonna work on my irrigation, my drip line stuff. Bought some things, and because I would stand out here for literally hours with 200 feet of hose, and I would have to sit or stand and just kind of hold the hose over each plant for like 5 minutes. So I'd be out here for hours because we have trees and shrubs and beds and stuff along the fence, and everything is so spread out. And I would just have to go and go and go and go like all the way around with the frickin' hoses. So enough's enough. We're gonna take care of this. I may not finish it today because yesterday I started on the bed in the back and it took like 3 hours to do like 12 feet of bed because I had to weave it. I used soaker hose back there, but still set up on a timer, and I had to weave in and out of plants and trim plants and start weeding, and I'd get distracted, and so it may take a few months to get this whole property done, but I'm gonna work on it. And I don't know if I showed you our sidewalk. We did pour a sidewalk so we're not walking in the mud to our driveway. Did this ourselves. We still want to stain it like we did the sidewalk in the back, because when the sun hits this new concrete, it is just blinding bright white, just blind you. So we're going to stain it darker just so it's not so harsh. And then on Wednesday we had a concrete pad poured. It's not the best quality concrete. I don't know, I'm a little mad about the concrete. But we're having a carport delivered tomorrow on Monday. And this concrete, it's got a lot of dips and divots, but the dogs did run through it. We had to let them go out to go potty, and I think that's cute. We have our puppy's paw prints forever, so I'm not mad about that. I'm just mad about the cracking, and I don't know. And it's not like the concrete driver did anything wrong, or the people. It could be just the quality of the concrete. It was my husband and his nephews and brother-in-law that did the, you know, whatever they do to flatten it out, and you know, oh, and it got all over the house. So hopefully that comes off of the pressure washer, because I don't like that at all. Looks ugly. Okay. So I believe that's everything in the, oh, what? How could I miss? And I'm only doing this side. I'm not going to walk over to the other half of the driveway. There's not a whole lot going on over there anyway. Not yet. But here is I believe it's a black diamond crepe myrtle. Is it black diamond? Oh, why can't I think of names? And the flush is about done. These blooms are kind of spent. But this is the crepe myrtle. It has the dark, almost black foliage, and then red blooms, which are kind of fading out to like a dull reddish pink. They were a bright, bright, bright red, like a blood red. So, there we go. And if I have said the name wrong, I'll put it on the screen. There's our gate, there's our trash can, our mailbox, and there's the other one. These blooms are a little bit fresher, not much. The webbing is insane this morning, but so pretty. All right, fine, I'm over here, so I'll show you a few things. We have an orange tree. I'm real excited about this one. Look at these oranges. We got this one last year, and I did fertilize it this year. And earlier this spring, this is a Hamlin sweet orange. Earlier this spring, the blooms were just bananas. Bananas. And look at those oranges. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. There's another web. Anyway. So if you come with me, this is, for one, is Chloe's racetrack. My dog that barks all the time, Chloe, that's her racetrack. And yeah, so my rose bed, and there's not anything going on right now except weeds. Weeds, lots of weeds. Russian sage that I've planted, it's doing okay. Roses, doing okay. This rose is called Eternal Flame. It's probably one of my favorite ones in the bed, besides the Comte de Chambord, Portland rose called Comte de Chambord. The fragrance is wonderful. I mean, it is, I would love to have a bottle of perfume with this fragrance. But look at the plant. It gets crippling, like rust or black spot or something, and it defoliates like all year. That's all it does is grow leaves and then lose them. I need to spray this again. But when it does get a bloom, oh my gosh, the scent is amazing. It's our new windmill. The old windmill is in the back in my little Zen garden area. And I have some passion vine and jasmine on it. But this is the new windmill. Love it. So I need to clean out this bed. I need to repaint. Those landscape timbers are supposed to be black, but they were 4 years ago. And then this corner here is a magnolia. I don't know if it's a teddy bear or a little gem. We got it at Houston Garden Center when they were 70% off. So this tree was $36. You can't beat that. We should have bought like a bunch more, but we never did go back. And there's some blooms on it right now, which is really pretty. And it smells wonderful. Pretty, pretty tree. I would love to have more of these. Oh yeah, a lot of blooms. Another one, and then one way up top. So pretty. This tree's doing great. Love the colors. Love that. I still got a little fall color. So pretty. And then I have a Joseph's Coat climbing rose that is just, it's just over here dying. It's just waiting to die. I don't have good luck with roses. I don't pay them enough attention. Yeah, that's sad. Okay, let's go. Let's leave him in peace. Oh, and I really don't want to walk all the way down there. So, we have some giant Thuja arborvitaes down there. And my mysterious plant from the circle bed is down there. And some blueberries are down there. And then another river birch in the corner, so that's it. I don't have to walk down there. Oh, and there's the Japanese maple there that the tree almost fell on when we had that tree cut down. It fell and almost killed it. Ooh, big web right there. I was about to walk through it. Okay. So, that's it in the front. My poor little sad dog. This is our dog that likes to run away. As soon as that gate is open, he used to dig, but he's quit digging. And he just sits there all sad because he wants to go run the roads, don't you, Axel? Go run the roads, try to find some pretty girls. But no. No. Okay, well, I'm gonna go inside and have my coffee now. Forgot to come out here with my coffee. So I'm gonna go get my coffee. And I may crawl back into bed because it's still early. I don't even know if it's 7 o'clock yet. It probably, definitely 7 o'clock. Might not be 8 o'clock yet. Anyway, I hope you'll have a great day. See you next time. Bye. So this morning I was just talking about wasps that paralyze big spiders and then lay their eggs on the spiders. And here I found a red and black wasp. And he has found himself a big spider. Well, big-ish spider. And, well, he wants to protect it. But he was just dragging it, and it got hung up on some grass there, so he's going to come back to it and drag it to wherever he has his hole. And then, not say he, I bet she will then lay eggs on that spider there. Anyway, let's see if she'll pick him up and drag him. There you go. Anyway, that's what's happening. She's looking for a place to bury him and lay her eggs, so we'll let her carry on about her business. I thought that was cool. I was just talking about it this morning, and there it is. Bye.